Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tony Talks. This is Tony, your host. And today I am bringing forth yet another phenomenal, I say yet another phenomenal guest. But I have the privilege to have my friend Brian Bradley come on for the third time. I do have him standing on Saturdays. So he'll be joining us every Saturday for the foreseeable future anyway. So I just want to say thank you to him for that. And I'm going to be bringing him on in a minute. And today we're going to be talking about, again, just how to stay healthy in these times of fear of health and lack of health. You know, Tony Talks is a show where I have conversations with inspirational leaders, influencers, change makers, people that are not only doing well in life, but are doing good in the world. And my friend Brian Bradley is one of those people by helping people just align themselves structurally and really eliminate pain. So if you're in pain right now, if you know anybody that's in pain, share this video with them. Share it with streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook. Share this link with them because they can alleviate their pain right now. I'm sure that Brian will be sharing some exercises with us to be able to do that. I'm going to see if he's already in. I think he's in the green room. I better bring him in before he eats all the lobster. Hold on a second. Here we go. We have the one, the only Brian Bradley of Egoscue. What's up, brother?
Thank God, the one and only, dude. Could you imagine two of me? I don't know. People would be like this. Nah, no, that's just flat out torture.
You know, people ask me all the time, how you doing? I said, if I was any better, I'd be twins. And my wife's eyes pop every time I say that because like, oh my God, imagine two of you.
I used to joke around about stuff and I'd be like, well, things could be worse. I could be dead or living in Los Angeles. That joke's not working right now.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's we got to be a little extra sensitive these days, but I want to thank you for coming on here. I know that you volunteered, or I don't know if it was volunteer or I convinced you to join us every Saturday, but I really appreciate it because it's so important. You know, how I announce this is that how to stay healthy during these times. And it's really about how to manage and really eliminate pain. And I was starting to say, and then I saw you come into the room, how if anybody's in pain right now, share this video, please share this video because inevitably, and the reason that Brian keeps coming on here, I swear the first time I met Brian, I felt like he was a magician because I was in pain. It was my neck, it was twitched and he's like, okay, we're going to fix it. And I thought he was going to touch my neck or touch my back. He didn't. He had me, put my toes pigeon-toed and stand a certain way and rock my hips and put my hands behind my head and flap my arms and do this and that. And then I stopped and the pain was gone without him ever having touched anything. So it's like I said, I feel like you're a magician and it's so important. That's why I thank you for coming on here and I enjoy sharing you and your, not only that, and your charismatic personality on here. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, it is the one, the only Brian Egoscue. He is amazing is all I can say. And he's going to drop some knowledge and share some exercises, share some tips, not only for you at home that's watching, but certainly for anyone that's out there having to work and put themselves at risk. We did something specifically, not specifically, but geared more towards the medical professionals last week and just people that are out there with the added stress of going to work every day. So again, thanks, brother. I appreciate you coming on here and I will let you do your thing.
This is why I shut the door to my office, because if anybody heard you BSing about what you just said, that would be exactly what they would say is BS. But what I'm going to start by reading you something from Pete Egoscue's second book, Pain Free. His first book was The Egoscue Method of Health Through Motion. We knew nothing about marketing at all back then, or even how do you say Egoscue? So that thing only sold a couple 100,000 copies. As soon as this thing hit the market, people on a shelf and said, yeah, that's what I want. So you talk about a play on words with the NLP involved. Oh, you guys are master coaches, and you're out there helping people. And for the people that aren't, there's a way to think about things. And I want to read you something from this book. And this thing was put out in 1997. And we're actually doing a rewrite of it right now. We're doing a lot of research on it. It's going to be Pain Free 2.0, coming up, that kind of stuff. So this is Pete Egoscue's second book. And I find the disclaimer completely opposite of what people are used to in the past. But I think where we are right now during a crisis period for this country, health-wise, and another crisis from a business financial-wise, everybody's in trouble. I guess except for mask makers and, but a lot of restaurants are getting beat up. And, I have 30 plus clinics around the world, and, we have constant meetings because I look at this as what better time than to be in constant contact with your customer base. And that means anybody, vendors, your banker, your lawyer, anybody who touches your business, get in touch with them. They're all worried, they're all scared, and especially staff as it relates to our clinics. So I think we do an amazing job, from Pete Egoscue down, touching people within the company. But I think this is very, very important because it speaks to self-reliance, self-responsibility, getting out of your own way. And Egoscue is all about that in regards to chronic pain. So anybody who has neck pain, for example, I did a workout. You guys may have seen that yesterday on my Instagram. Remember, my Instagram is the Brian Bradley, and I only made it the because the other Brian Bradley who plays for the Tampa Bay Lightning, I think he has the original. So I'm not that narcissistic. So it's the Brian Bradley or Egoscue Method. Those are two different Instagrams, and the message is very clear on both. But the one that I posted yesterday was a workout that I did with my son using the tornado ball, the vipers, the elastic battle ropes in a safe, sequestered way where people were 40, 50 yards away from us. Nobody was coming up. Two of his friends asked if they could work out. The answer was absolutely no. You can do it from a distance and copy, but right now we're in that important phase. So here we go. It has become obligatory for health books to carry a legal disclaimer. You've read them. The following material is not intended as a substitute for the advice of your physician. And they go on and on to recommend that you consult a doctor before embarking on whatever program is being offered. They conclude with the author and publisher disclaiming any legal responsibility for adverse consequences. So as Pete did in his first book, so he says, as I did in my first book, I will again urge readers who feel they need the disclaimer's protection and counsel to close the covers of this book and leave the pages unread. My working principle as an author and exercise therapist is that the most important consultation is the one that a person has with him or herself. Healthcare starts with personal responsibility. Any disclaimer that suggests otherwise does a great disservice. I love it. I flat out love it. It's one of those things where you get Pete Egoscue, you guys had him on here 2 shows ago, who came out of Vietnam. The Vietnam War, not fun. No war is fun. But that war especially was beat up on the homeland and over there. These guys came back and they were treated like crap. He went through this war from a political side and a combat side. When he's writing these books, he's looking at it going, let's take this to the next level. Let's get people to finally stop looking at other people and pointing fingers and you did it, you did it, you did it. I am not responsible. I hear it all the time by people saying this to me. Gee, Brian, I hope you can help me. And I said, yeah, I hope so too. And they're like, what? You don't sound too certain. I said, well, hope's not a strategy. There's a hole in hope. We talked about that before. You must move your belief to, I know that my body's just giving me a signal. I know that I will come out of this. I know I'm supposed to learn something. It's no different than what COVID-19 is doing to us right now. Tony, your wife worked 45 hours last week or this week. That does not include travel. That does not include when she gets home and there's stress. In Christ, she's living with you. That's like double time. So I want us to be this glimmer of hope for people that are around us. And there are times when you'll just feel like crap. There are times where you'll just go, I'm not ready for, anything. I'll give you an example. I have a clinic owner in New York named Greg. And I called him up. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, not much. I said, hey, I'd like to maybe bring you on this show with Tony. He goes, what are you doing? He goes, oh, I'm playing a board game. What are you playing? Monopoly. Now let's use the words again. You haven't brought out Monopoly in over a decade. Easily, maybe 2. I still have I think I have the Transformers one from way back in the late to early like 2009 or something, or possibly Star Wars. I'm not sure which one. But that thing hasn't come out in a long time. And I said, you know why they call them board games? Because we're at home. We're running out of things to do. We're bored. Let's get board games. So yeah, that is a horrible joke, but it's a play on words where I can go, yeah, my son's getting so used to Xbox now that he's even getting bored. And I'm going, why don't we pull out this and do this? Let's pull out this to spin it. Let's do this to throw die, all that. And he's loving it as it relates to some variety, because there's variety that's missing. And when variety is missing, and that's what you crave, you start looking in some very bad places. So we got to fill that hole with something. What I fill it with is a glimmer of hope, in the sense of we get you moving more functionally, and the family who moves together stays together. So I was on before we see if Greg is he in a waiting room or anything, or no?
Yeah, I think he just popped in.
Okay, great. We have a client that I saw this morning from North Carolina. She's a traveling nurse. 3rd level, stage 3 spondylolisthesis in her lower back. Now, don't say that word, but here's spondylolisthesis. The vertebrae should sit perfectly congruent like that. Grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. Doesn't it look like it's going to do this?
Yeah.
And it's going to, basically, and it's going to take nerves with it. So what they want to do is they want to move it back. They want to fuse it back into place without ever asking, why is it like that? So we've got to get you to a point where no matter what your symptom is, you rely on people who know their shit. And I just happened to be one of those people who got very lucky and ran into Pete Egoscue in 1991, and it forever changed the way that I look at the body. Forever. And Greg will tell you the same thing. Can we bring him in?
Yeah, we can. And I say the same thing. I look at things differently. So listen, I've got Amanda, who's certainly been somebody that's worked with you before. She said before, Egoscue is a way of life. And then she says, the family who moves together stays together. And that's one of your quotes, I guess.
Yeah, I just
says hello. There's other people in here saying hello. Vanessa says hello. My brother's in here. Jack, you helped him. Remember, he's got one leg shorter than the other from the car accident. So yeah, so this is great. This is great. And yes, Greg is here. Hope he's not eating all the lobster that I left in the green room. Oh wait, there was no lobster. Hey, Greg, what's up,
guys?
Thanks for joining us.
Nice Brian's not lying. I am playing Monopoly right now. Ruby, say hi, honey.
Awesome. Hi.
I hope you're beating your dad, sweetheart.
Yeah, well, she's the only one with houses right now. She's killing it.
Oh wow.
Nice.
They would have to pay me $600.
That's very true.
Well, hey, double your dad's rent. I wanna steal your dad for a minute so he can pass go and tell us about things that he's doing to handle sequestering and any other questions that Tony and the group have for him.
You without a doubt. Yeah, so my days are not too different. I'm very fortunate that, for what I've been doing for such a long period of time, even in normal days, I see about 30% of my clients digitally anyway. So it's a pretty easy transition for most of the people that I'm working with anyway to hop on Zoom or FaceTime, or this StreamYard is new to me. I like this. This is pretty cool. But as a way just to keep people going, keep people feeling good and rocking and rolling and trying to be as positive as possible during all these times that are going, whatever we're dealing with right now. And
are you feeling that when you talk to people, like we were just talking about board games, people usually pull up board games when they're bored, right? When's the last time that the 3 or 4 of you guys sat down and did this kind of stuff for real, and spent a couple hours doing it? I remember it back in the 70s and 80s, for sure. That was something we did at home. And Monopoly was one of those things that I grew up with 3 sisters and 1 brother, 5 kids total. My mom was a breeder. And so we looked at it from the standpoint of sitting down to play something like that was just fun. But a lot of times that's gone. How's this working for you? And what do you normally do?
It's been interesting. And I have the same conversation with a lot of my clients where it's more of how do you balance your professional life with your personal life and how to make it work. And I've kind of chosen early on that I have 2 little kids, my Ruby, who you guys all met, who's 7, and my little guy, Pete, who's 3. He's not named after Pete Egoscue, but I swear. That's the only name we could agree
Or
upon.
it could have been Brian.
Yeah, it could have been Brian, exactly.
It could have been Brian.
Where I very early on say, hey, these are my kids. You're gonna meet them at some point during the appointment. And most people really like that. They like the more human connection and know that this is not the perfect work environment, and it's just making it happen. And I consider that, you know, most of every single person I work with is a friend of mine. So I like to let them know that, hey, like, this is my life. Welcome to my life a little bit. And we're all in interesting times, but it's a great way to connect. So.
Tony, did you hear that, you know, from the standpoint of how busy, you know, your life is, your wife's life, you know, especially being a first responder, and you look at that and you go, I consider him a friend of mine. And hey, by the way, when you get to see my life and the not so perfect side of it, you know, because remember, being on stage at these big Robbins events, and Greg, you've done a lot of talks with me that we've done, and you've done a lot of talks yourself, where you get to, people start going, wow, I want to be like you. Your energy's this. And I said, yeah, my energy is like that. It's a choice, because I do have some shit going on too, right? Everybody has kids and college and high school and car payments, and now all of this is going on. And you being one of the clinics, we were talking about it yesterday, business-wise. Greg and I talk all the time, and Greg and our whole corporate team, we talk about, you know, things that we're gonna, you know, do. And I think one of the greatest statements that came out of, I don't know if it was Pete Egoscue that said it. He said, yeah, some of our clinics might be closed, but Egoscue Digital is open 24/7. And that was a great thing, because I remember seeing people from other countries over VHS and beta tapes. Now, explain to the younger people in the crowd, those are a real thing. They were back in the day when Journey came out with their cassette tapes in our 1986 Trans Am or Camaro, which, you know, Tony had a Camaro.
Absolutely.
So the reason being is the people that a lot of times that are thinking about this kind of stuff, technology's allowed us to do this. So I implore people, especially in the coaching world, in any type of coaching world, get yourself out there. It's not something you're comfortable with. Get yourself out there. I had a talk with Charlene O'Connor. You remember her, Greg?
Of course.
She does a huge amount of meditation stuff.
Yeah.
We were talking, and she said, you know, I'm not sure that golf's ready for this, or you think they're ready. And I said, I don't care if they're ready. You bulldoze your way in and you tell them you're ready, because everybody could use the meditation.
Yeah. Now is the time. I mean, I know you earlier you were talking about, you know, Pete's the big tough Marine, but, you know, deep down inside, I haven't been around as you are, but I've been around at Egoscue since 2003. And Pete's always been a tech nerd. As much as he, you know, puts off this thing, he loves the technology and doing the VHS. Remember the big Polycom, you know, video conferencing system we used to use back in the day.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, you know, that's why I was saying, like, this to me is an opportunity to use this as like, wow, this is really exciting to see how much everyone can access this from their house. And
absolutely. And it's about, you know, you got to keep innovating, right? Innovation is everything. That's, you know, and usually innovation happens, you know, when necessity forces it.
Right.
So everybody, there's so many people now that their business is having to go digital, whether they want to or not. If you want to stay in business, you've got to have a digital component to it, so that you can be able to continue to serve your clients and do what you've got to do. So, and be able to just be out there and reach. Fortunately, there's so many great platforms like this one, StreamYard, that I came across last week, and I think it's fantastic. Shameless plug for StreamYard, but, you know, I don't know anybody there.
Is it because of the mallard up in the corner, because you're such an outdoors guy, or is this?
Right. Yeah, no, it isn't because of that, but a friend of mine was using this, and it's so great because you can post questions like this one or a comment. Dana Lisa Gang, which she was on with Peter Egoscue 2 weeks ago, said, I love that quote, rely on the people that know their shit. That's fantastic. But so people can just connect from anywhere in the world. You know, Amanda asked, what is the way to reset our body from increased sitting because increased of working at home? And we can answer that in a second. Yeah, but absolutely. It's so great that people can reach out. And by the way, if you're watching this, not only would I like you to share this, but go on YouTube. You can watch it live on YouTube and share the link from YouTube. Please subscribe to that channel as well. But share this with your friends, anyone who is in pain right now, because these guys are, again, they're like magicians. They can make your pain go away. But the fact that we can have people from around the world ask a question of us live is just absolutely phenomenal. So again, I encourage everybody to tap into this, because again, we need to continue to innovate. So you guys want to tackle this question?
Very cool. I mean, this question actually was the exact thing. We had a small meeting actually with Pete yesterday with some of my staff and a couple other clinics around. And that was one of the big things, is that how do you impact people's lives and do it in such a way that it's not like, oh, you got to get up or you got to do this, you got to find that, you got to go to all these different places. So many people now, I had one of my therapists tell me that one of her clients she saw this morning is a teacher, and his normal day was sitting about, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. Now, because everything he's doing online, he's sitting 10 to 12 hours a day.
Yeah, my sister's doing the same.
Yeah.
Right. And all of his stuff, all of his symptoms have been heightened, just by all the amount of sitting. And we talked about what's something that we can do in our chairs with no equipment that can make a giant impact on the two things people need most right now. They need an ability to relax, and they need an ability to breathe. Right? Everyone needs that right now with what's going on. Even COVID-free or non-COVID-free, breathing is really important. So anyone who's on the call right now, I'd love them to try. If you're sitting down, even if you're not sitting down, find something to sit down in.
Can you back your
Yeah, completely.
give it to your production trained daughter, because I know she does most of your filming.
All right. Here's my official Egoscue block that you do things on, but you don't need an official Egoscue block. Just get a chair. All right. So in your chair, you sit not in the back, so don't lean against the back. Move your butt halfway forward in the chair. Get your feet straight, but you're going to turn your knees in so that they touch, and make your feet a little wider than your hips. And then as you do that, pay attention to what happens, in particular what happens to your lower back. Most people who kind of go, they're sitting like this all day, but as soon as you bring your knees together, it forces you to do what my body just did, go upright. And all you're going to do here is just put your hands on your lap, this way or this way, it doesn't matter, and breathe through your belly. Really take a nice inhale in and let the belly expand. Inhale, and then let it go out. Exhale. Do 3 or 4 breaths. And when you finish those 3 or 4 breaths, get back in the chair and let me know what's different. Are you sitting different? Are you breathing different? What's the change? And that's a quick talk about, an interrupt or something you can do to your body really fast to make a giant impact. You can do it once every hour. You can do it once a day, but it's enough to know that you can do something that simple and change your state.
Yeah, I'm sitting more upright right now just by doing that.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I will tell you what it did for me. It's I was off camera, right? Like we weren't on.
Yeah.
Thank
You were
God.
off camera.
I brought my knees together too fast, and
Ouch.
yes.
It happens.
So sorry to any guy that's out there. We forgot to tell you.
Listen, don't wear skinny jeans, Brian.
That's
Don't-
true. That's true. Dang, I got those off of Ben Greenfield. Sorry. So you have that question in there that's talking about any stretches for the hip flexors. What Greg just did is killed the word stretch.
Right.
Muscles don't stretch. They literally don't stretch. We'll go into that later on scientifically. Well, if you want to do that, but honestly, it's boring as hell. Just understand, muscles don't stretch. What I want you to think about is, as he rotated your legs inward like this, that hip flexor that you're talking about that's tight is on the inside of that bone, and it just rotated toward the back like this. It pulled a little bit like that. It actually contracted and created tension in that muscle, which then didn't allow your butt to drop down and let you collapse. So instead of thinking stretch the muscle, how about we think of engaging the muscle? Engage it to relate it or change its tension to get it to change its tension, to go to more of a relaxed position. So this is, everybody hold your bicep tight like this, squeeze it, hold that for a week.
Yeah. Ouch.
That doesn't make sense, but yet people are told, suck in your abs, my hip flexors are tight, it must use a P, I need to stretch. In fact, Greg, that's what we did with Conor McGregor. Remember when we had him 12 days before the fight, he said, my hip flexors are so tight, they were talking about stretching. We put him in a position kind of like we just did, but differently positioned on hands and knees. We'll show it in a little bit because, Greg, you're our model today.
I'm in the picture, so let's do it.
Exactly. Might as well be congruent. He stood up and he's like, dude, my feet are straighter and my hips aren't tight anymore. You didn't stretch me.
Right.
That was his aha moment.
Yeah. And there's a big word in there, Brian, that like what that exercise did that you just talked about and the one we just did in the chair, it's balance. You're asking both sides to do the same thing at the same time. And if you ever hear Pete give a talk, there's a quick little like 2-minute video on YouTube putting together right now. Clinic in Atlanta put it together. It just kind of breaks down a talk that Pete did for Paul Tudor Jones and the Robin Hood Foundation.
Yep.
And he says the word balance in it about 22 times. and that's really one of the big things that we try to promote with everyone is just let's find a way, let's identify how the body's off balance, and let's just find a way to put it back in balance through movement.
Look at this picture. You got that?
Yeah.
That's that big psoas hip flexor muscle. But look at the blue and red blood flow that are in line with that muscle as it traverses the body. Anybody who tells you that your hip flexors aren't the on switch for your body, you might want to find someone else to get you to work on them, because it's not that you work them. Greg's not going, let's fire up your hip flexor. He's saying, let's just change your body's position, create balance, which then turns on the circuit breaker.
Right.
And it's very important you start thinking about how it lays back in the body, how your intestine, your stomach, everything's related to this area.
Yeah, your diaphragm, right?
Oh my gosh, the diaphragm alone, as it contracts like that reverse umbrella down onto the organs to create intra-abdominal pressure. That's how your wife would go, I'm a nurse who weighs 112 pounds. I know she's in earshot. 112.
Yeah, she's watching and doing the exercises 3 rooms over.
Good, because in her mind, she's like 120 pounds, call it, right? This little lady's going to try to move a 300-pound patient in a bed who can't breathe. You want to talk about somebody putting themselves out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, she pays the price when she comes home and her back is sore and her shoulders are sore and everything's sore. So yeah, it's that's why this is such a godsend that not only have you come on here once, but you keep coming back, which is awesome, to give everybody a little bit of that. But I'm going to be self-serving right now and tell you that I'm in a little bit of discomfort right now. I usually hold a lot of tension in my thoracic back, and just below that, right, just below. I'm tight right now, and I'm feeling pain, kind of like just directly behind my sternum. I'm tight, and I feel I'm in pain now. I don't know. I was doing a lot of yard work today, so.
I'm going to let Greg do the honors here, but I want to put you in a position where people can see it. So, do you mind turning you're wearing pants, right?
Give me a minute, damn it. I am. I'm wearing pants.
But I want you to stand up and give us a full body length with your shirt tucked in or shirt off. And we can take a look at what your mid-back's doing. Greg will he'll walk you through, hey, this is what I think. And then we'll go from there. And that way people can learn how this is done. And then it's almost like we're going to train these guys to be therapists, because no offense, it's not that hard. Pete Egoscue will tell you he was just dumb enough to figure this stuff out because he didn't have all this blinders of education coming in.
So here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to come off screen just so that you guys continue to entertain the crowd with your unbelievable depth of knowledge. No, seriously, you keep speaking. I'm going to move things around so that I can actually have the laptop.
Good. And it's good. I see Amanda asked a question about yoga, so it's good.
Yeah, you guys answer now. Perfect. You're good. Hold on.
Make sure that we have full body length of you, like standing against a blank wall. Make sure we can see from heel to head, okay? All right, Greg, go ahead.
Yeah, so with Amanda's question, we borrow from the best. So we use yoga exercises, right? But we use them with a very specific light of why is, like an example, like a downward dog, or we call it cats and dogs or cat cows. Why is this movement necessary or important for this body? And also, what does it tell us? What do we know from this exercise? What do we get to learn from it? So we love yoga. There is no such thing as bad exercise. If an exercise is painful or it hurts your body or something bad happens, please take this the best way possible. It is not the fault of the exercise. It's your fault. It's your fault because you're bringing a body to the exercise that can't quite do it. And the pain response is just your body telling you to stop if you do have pain with it.
So that's for anything like you were doing, because we see yoga instructors with herniated discs and stuff all the time. Does that go for Pilates, CrossFit, normal weightlifting?
We love it. It's great. you're designed to move, right? Like that's what this system, this body does. It moves. The pain, as you've talked about many times, even with Tony here, that pain is just signal. We need to understand it and not fear it, not run away from it, but go into it and figure out the why answer. And we have a really fun system that helps us figure out why.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let me answer another question on top of that yoga one, if you don't mind. When somebody does downward dog, Greg, today, I wouldn't mind when we're done, and especially with him. And Tony, you got to tuck that shirt in. We want to have him do a cat dog, downward dog, and talk about the pull versus the push. Cool. And remember how we did the cat dog and we went 1, 2, 3, where the move is generating versus what we normally do.
Cool. I love that. That's great. I hope we answered your question, Amanda. I hope you're still there.
Let's see if what came in. She hasn't responded back, but there's such a good gift to have. Masters so within reach. Yes, absolutely. The beauty of technology. All right.
There you go, Tony. That's great.
Okay, so
back further.
No, you're perfect, man.
You're good. It really works well with a dark wall and a dark shirt. Yeah, thanks. You might as well be camouflaged standing in the woods.
He's fine, Brian. I'm going to put him in EP, and I'm going to send him the pictures, and so he can go back and forth, so we can go over together.
Oh, perfect.
Should I go put on a light?
No. You're fine.
You're good, buddy. You're good. I'm giving you help.
All right, Tony. Whenever you're ready.
Don't stand up straight.
Yeah. As you're good, turn to a side view so we can see either one of your sides. There you go.
Look at that head position.
Perfect. What are you talking about? Tony, turn so we can see your back.
And that's the key with you guys when you're listening to this. We're not, if Greg and I were talking and you guys couldn't hear, we'd say, wow, look at that neck.
Left side, please.
There's zero judgment, but there has to be an objective finding. That's what we're looking for. Is possibly one side even looking worse than the other, which you'll see in these pictures. And that might be because his body is rotated.
Yep.
So the symptom you're putting those in, Greg?
I'm going to put them in right now. Yep.
So, Tony, when you have symptoms, is it equilateral? Is it right and left, or is it no, one side's more than the other?
Sometimes it's more on the right than on the left.
How is it now?
I feel a little more of a twinge on the right.
How about when you drop your head like this?
Oh, yeah, that's the right.
Yeah, so all we got to do is true cervical movement really starts about right here in your T-spine because of where the muscles come down to attach, how the ligaments are lined up and all that. True cervical movement is going to generate from that T3, T4 area, which means nothing if you're not in the healthcare world. You don't care. If you're in pain, I don't care what does it. But when we really look down the chain, what turned Greg and I on when we came out of athletic training was, this is amazing. So you're telling me that the neck pain, like you standing pigeon-toed, we did at the event, took away some mid-back neck symptoms. How does that happen? Because it actually just balances out the pelvis.
Like I said, everybody, if you're watching, this is magic. Seriously, these guys are like magicians. And I can't stress enough how important it is to really pay attention to this. And I'm going to just ask again, share this video for some, share it with the people you love, but only if you love them. Because
Tony, what's going to be cool about this is that what Brian said, like you're going to get to experience the magic kind of like firsthand and see how much it isn't magic, how it's really common sense. And it's really just straight lines and right angles. I took some pictures of you and I want to email them to you. What's your email address so I can send them to you quick?
Sure. It's Tony.
Yeah.
At GetUpNGrow. So just like you see it on the top or on my name here.
And Greg, are you able to put that screen up on the window or no, you're shooting off the screen. That's right. Maybe take a picture from your iPhone of the still shot and show us.
I might be able to do that. It's getupandgrow.com, right, Tony?
Yeah.
Okay. For the dead time. Someone do a handstand or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'd like you to do is, can you back up, Tony, turn sideways a little bit? And remember, we're not here to hurt you. We're not here to judge you, right? Can you turn sideways to the camera and just give me a forward hang and when I say try to touch your toes, that comes with competition. Just hang comfortably where your body goes to. I'm going to see how far you can go down with minimal work. All right, so go ahead and start anytime now, Tony.
What's that?
I'm just kidding. Come back up. Did you get to just below your knees?
Yeah. Well, I got I'm probably 6 inches from the floor.
Okay. By the time Greg's done with you, you'll be at the floor, and nothing about what he's going to give you is going to be about stretching something to get you there. You've got to change the bone to take the stress off of your mid-back that's actually doing the work, because you're asking it to do the work. Congratulations on having that symptom is what we really should be saying, because it lighting up like that tells you, yes, there's a signal, something's off, but it also says where your body's probably compensatedly doing all the work.
Right.
Right. Here's what we got. This is terrible with the glare. I sent you a copy too, Tony. All right.
Right.
But what I did when you were standing there, I took some screenshots of you, and this is what we do with everyone. We take front view, we do side views, right, and we do the back view. And the things I want you to kind of pay attention to are like the vertical lines. Essentially, I try as best I can to go between your feet.
Hold on, let me make you the primary so we can maybe see the screen better. There we go.
There we go.
Kind of rough. I emailed it to you too. If you can pull it up on that, if that's easier. Anyway.
Oh yeah, you know what? I might be able to share my screen. Hold on, let's see if I can do it. I've never done this, so be patient with me here.
Yeah, no worries. But
this is like that game where you put your phone on your head. That's what it looks like.
What Disney princess am I?
Nice.
I usually get Jafar. But like, there's a giant difference, and giant is a relative term, but Brian and I look at posture all day long. But if you look at where your left side alignment is versus your right side alignment, and you actually, Tony, as much crap as Brian gave you about your shirt, you wore the perfect shirt because it has a centered logo in your back. And you can see how it's not centered.
Come closer, Greg.
On the line here.
And then right there, that's what I see what you're talking about. That little white dot below his center part of his neck, his head's not centered on it.
Right. And if you look at the relationship between his left ear, which is perfectly on the line, and his right ear, which is 3 inches forward. You
know what? Can I have you send it to another email? Because for whatever reason, I'm on this browser. Send it to.
So Tony, what I always like to say to people when they have differences in their side view is I ask them first, are you good at math?
Well, I'm good enough, I guess.
All right. So here's a math equation for you. So if two halves form a whole, how can one side be different than the other?
If two halves form a whole, what was the rest of that?
I said, if two halves form a whole, how could one side be different than the other? And the answer is you really can't. But the simple answer is you're twisted, but not mentally, just physically.
Well, arguably, that's why Brian and I are friends.
Exactly. But that's the puzzle for us. Is that why? What purpose does that rotation serve? I
just sent you an alternate email, by the way.
Yeah, it does it for a reason. Yeah, what's the email, Tony?
I just sent it to you. If you just want a copy, it's in the chat, private chat.
Perfect. Excellent there.
Tony, feel free. We always give people the option. You can make holiday cards with these pictures too. I mean, you want to put yourself out there, let's do it.
Yeah, right. Nice.
Yeah, Vistaprint's running a lot of good sales right now. Shout out to Vistaprint.
I think everybody's running some good sales right now.
Well, they have to. It's they're having to innovate. They're having to innovate past whatever is going on.
Hey, the best one I saw, there's a pizza place around the street from me that's making a make your own pizza kit. They send you the dough, the cheese, and the sauce. And
oh, that's brilliant.
Make your own pizza. I'm like, this is outstanding.
There are tiki bars that are actually getting where was it? I heard this on the storybrand.com guy. They were doing, they were talking to somebody who runs a tiki bar, and what can they do? And they're like, we may have to close. He's like, what are you talking about? You've been given the ability to mix everything there, put them in separate bottles. They teach people how to make their own tiki bars at home, and then they just pick all the ingredients up from their office. So you've had to innovate and think of something different. But I can tell you right now that you have to be thinking different in a time like this on what you're able to offer to people. Like what it's done for me, and Greg knows my travel schedule, this is absolutely giving me so much time as it relates to connecting with people on podcasts. That's why it's easy to say yes to this stuff. Wow, look at that.
By the way, I just put this out. This is cool. This is the first time I'm doing this screen share. But if you guys can see it, we're all on it. Well, but I might be able to just do the full screen. There we go. That's better.
You got the winner here.
Hold on, let me see if I can just blow that up a little bit more.
Yeah, look at that rear view.
Yeah, it's very telling. And that, again, like,
Tony, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. The game we play as therapists is called What Doesn't Fit. So if the human design is one where shoulders are leveled and hips are leveled and feet and knees are straight, with a body that's perfectly bisected in half left and right, and also a body that stacks ear to ankle, what doesn't fit from that design? What misses it? So that's the game.
How am I off?
Well, listen, like, we all have fun stuff.
So, Greg, looking at those pictures, and you're putting the stick figures in and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Did it come up with something like 3 toes and active cobra, or do you want to run them? Because remember, I want to do a downward dog with them before. I want to do the hanging test without.
It actually put them in one that's a little tough to do right now, but we can do it. We can find a really easy substitute for it. It wants to give them like a floor block or a wall clock, an upper spinal, and a sitting floor twist. Those are the top 3 choices.
Why don't I just do upper spinal, cats and dogs, then throw them in the hang position again?
Yeah, I think that's very appropriate.
All right. Hey, Tony, remember, when this helps, those were my ideas. If it hurts, it's Greg's.
Listen, if it hurts, we just got to understand it. That's all.
Yeah.
That's right.
No fear. Just understand.
No fear.
All right. Tony, I'm going to demonstrate how to do this. Let me get my
all right. Let's
out.
Yeah, if we can put him back up on big screen, he'll show you guys. And some of you that are watching this, just grab your phones and record this part of it if you have to. If you want to try this stuff to get the how to do it stuff.
Well, here's the cool thing. This is actually being recorded right now. It's on the YouTube channel, so you can just go to YouTube and watch it over and over again. It's also on Facebook. So
or you can feel free to email me. I'm glad you send you the pictures and videos with the instructions on how to do it right.
Yep.
All right. So this is called an upper spinal floor twist, Tony. You're gonna lie on your side. You don't need a trusty Egoscue method mat, which you can buy on sale for $19.95 right now.
Again, everybody's got sales. This is awesome.
Actually, it was $15 before COVID. He just made money.
All right. So big key with this one is that you have a pretty straight line, or pretty by meaning very straight line between your knee and your hip, and that the knees stay in alignment. You're going to lie on your side, and I'm lying on my right side. From here, I'm going to use my right hand to hold onto my knees to keep my knees down, and then open my left arm up like a book without letting this happen. So you got to keep them together. And as you're here, you get to your end range, and then you focus on breathing. It's an inhale.
Brent, that answers a question right there that came up from Rachel, I think, before was, what do you guys think about mixing breathing with this? Honestly, if we could do it, we would throw away the timer completely, and we would only use diaphragmatic breathing. And it may take him 7, 8, 10 breaths to get the shoulder blade to an endpoint on the ground. It may take him 4, but either way, we're using.
I would get started here. Within 4 breaths, I'm almost down. My hands are on the floor.
That's awesome.
But I'm not letting my knees come apart. I'm really keeping everything together. And you'll do it. Maybe 8 or 9 breaths is the right number.
And what you're looking at right now is exactly how we would be doing a Skype or FaceTime with you when you guys want to do this. The coaching literally allows me into your house. So the cool part about this is I get to see, and so does Greg, what you're really using to do the exercises. Like, are you squeezing a beach ball that's 3 feet long that's causing you back pain, or are you using a roll of toilet paper that are so coveted right now? That way you know where it is. At least it's between your knees.
So do I turn? I'm doing the exercise now. Should my shoulder be on the ground or just my hand?
Listen, I trust you about as far as I could throw you. Can you get us back on camera with you?
You have to get as low as mine is, Tony.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I'll come on camera here. Hold on.
So bring your knees together. Make sure that the knees don't slide apart from each other. That's the key. Bring those knees up a little bit and bring your feet out to me a little bit.
Ooh, I needed that.
Now, stay right there. And where do you feel that right now, Tony?
I feel it on my Kind of like underneath my rib cage, at the end of my rib cage.
Okay,
Perfect.
so
On the left.
turn your head to the left, and I want you to breathe in as deep as you can, even if that brings your left shoulder and hand back up off the floor. And then when you breathe out, you let everything go and let it drop down even further. You're breathing yourself down, almost like you're doing a rotational cats and dogs here. You're wringing out the dry dish rag.
Ooh, look at that. Nice, Tony.
And by the way, guys, we're not stretching here. What you're doing is you're allowing bones to rotate over time, and you're engaging different muscles as other muscles release their held tension based on where the bones are. So if you were going to see a chiropractor, wouldn't it be nice if you could set your body up first, treat chiropractic like a sport, and train for it?
Yeah, I know I did that my left side. I got a couple nice little adjustments myself when I did the left. So
It's $25 a pop.
for real.
Okay, Tony, close it back up and then switch over. No, what kind of face is that?
That's rotator cuff owl face.
So next time, bend your elbow and then close up.
Or just suck it up and stop your whining. Let's go.
Jeez, the California guy is being a tough guy right now.
I love you, man.
Look, he's back east, Greg, so I can give him heck. I know he can handle it. So now you're going to have to scooch toward the wall here so the piano is not in the way or whatever that is. Pool table?
It's a pool table. It won't be in the way.
Yeah, he's good.
Okay, open that up. And Greg, we'll let him not start completely on the side of his shoulder, even though.
Wait, I'm going the same way I was before. Hold on.
Yeah, you are.
Just turn the other way and open up to the right. Now, for those of you listening, that was an intelligence test and he passed. But this is the kind of fun that we should be having when somebody's in chronic.
Yeah, I just had a crack.
Nice. Tony, is the stretch is it in a different area of restriction on this side?
Yeah, now it's right here.
Cool. Breathe into that spot.
Where on the other side it was here.
Yeah. And that's not wrong. It just shows you what you're using. It just shows you how you're using your body different left to right. In an ideal world, you would get the same sensation left side and right side. And it's not wrong. It's just giving you some information right now.
There's that breath. Look at that deep breath that he takes in, because his arm almost hyperextends to get him there. But we want his shoulder blades. So slow the breathing down and go even deeper. Deep, 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 deep. Breathe, 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 breathe. And then breathe it out real slow.
Nice.
Almost like you're blowing out a candle. And by the way, guys, COPD, asthma, COVID-19, all this stuff that hits you guys in the lungs and threatens our lungs, it might be good to train your lungs. And this type of breathing is massive for you.
And now that pull is right. It's going down here. It's not here anymore. It's here.
Weird, right? You're doing an exercise that's impacting your shoulder, but you're feeling it in your hip. And that's the side of his body, Brian, that was more, he was leaning that side. He was also more forward on that side as well.
Yeah, he got himself rotated, but he does a lot of his own, like he has a huge bee colony, makes his own honey, which, guys, if you haven't had his honey, it's unbelievable. And there's your free plug. That's all the thing I'm going to do there. If you buy one of the Agosky yoga mats, you get a jar of honey. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't produce anywhere near enough for that.
That's $39.95. But you also get a free ebook with it. So
It's true. Where is it now?
Right here.
And you notice how Greg didn't say, okay, you spent 1 minute on the other side, 1 minute on the other. We're going by instincts on what the body's telling us. Or when Tony says, I'm kind of at my end point, nothing's changing. And then we would close it up. He would get on his hands and knees and we do some cats and dogs, which Greg will teach you a different way to do cats and dogs. That is a hip-driven movement rather than most people will push and pull with their shoulders. So we need a side view of your body, buddy. Up on your hands and knees. You can leave the camera right where it is. Move your right a little bit.
nice.
Is that good?
Go ahead.
All right, Tony, if your spine was a whip, your hips for your pelvis or your low back and sacrum. That's the handle. So your motion has to start here for both the up and the down motion.
Hold on, let me take a look at you. Hold on.
Cat dog. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start doing the cat position. I'm going to round, start with my low back and start working my way up.
And then his head drops third. So give the hips the number one movement. When he comes out of this, it's a 1 movement at the pelvis.
1,
2 at the shoulders, 3 at the head.
All right, let's see if I can.
And Greg, were you kicked by a horse this morning, or is that just your tricep? Look at that thing. Dang, dude, winter is treating you well.
All right, hold on. Let me see. Okay.
Leg day every day, man.
All right, here we go.
Tricep and leg day every day.
Wait, hold on. Which way am I going here? Okay.
Go to your right a little bit and then move forward. Good. Now just go through the motion, but create the movement at your hip. Now right there, bring your shoulder blades together so there's wrinkles in your shirt. Now look up. Now make the sound. You can bark there. That's good. And now reverse it with your pelvis moving first, you sick bastard. Good. Head down. Yep. Good. Just go back and forth like 5 times. Your wife was right. You are smarter than I thought. So this is good. Those of you listening, you have to be able to give each other a hard time every once in a while.
Hey, listen, I like to bust chops, so I got to be able to take it, right?
Don't you remember Chris Farley and David Spade when Greg knows this because he and I have the movies memorized. When I'm like, Greg, does this jacket make me look fat? No, but your face does. Oh, God. I posted this as you're finishing up. I posted this the other day as one of the greatest. They said, what's the celebrity that you would like to look like the most? Everybody's putting up all these ripped guys, and I said, Farley wins everything compared to Swayze. And of course, that was the Chippendales SNL. How many is that, Tom?
I think this is 5.
Yeah, that's great. Your motion's great, man. You're doing well.
And you're really initiating it low, which is good. And when you drop into this last one right here, shoulder blades need to come together, create wrinkles in there. That wrinkled upper shirt. Good. And then stand up. And can we get you back over by that wall with the wainscoting over there by the credential with the bonsai tree on it or whatever that thing is. Tilt the camera down just a little bit. Yeah, can you tilt it down a little bit? Good. And then just show us your side view. And then show us your rear view. And now show us your side view again.
The other side?
Yeah, get to the other side because I want to have you bend over and touch your toes again and tell me what the difference is in the range of motion. Because it wasn't about stretching anything. It was about mobilizing your mid-back to tie into your hip to create a better hip hinging motion. So go ahead and bend over. What's the difference?
I'm about 1 inch from the floor now, so I'd probably drop 5 inches.
Yeah.
60% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
And this is not that's why we said kill the word stretching.
Yeah.
I really want you to get that. If that's what we could label today is kill the stretch. It's got to be about an engaging the different bony movements. And we just use things as testing. Like that forward hang, you were doing this and bending from your back versus your hinge at the pelvis actually taking you over. It's not teaching you how to bend over. It's about teaching you how to move correctly.
Awesome. Well, there's certainly less pressure. Yeah, there's pressure now. The pain is not really there. It's pressure. I still feel the pressure there.
Sit back down in your leather chair and see it, because that may bring it back. It may take it away. Just get back into the position that you were normally in. and then you want to hang your head a little bit and see if that's pulling the same as it was before.
It's not pulling anywhere near as much. It's still pulling a little bit on the right. So I'm still getting a little bit of pull on the right, but I can sit here now and I don't feel the pain. I'm still feeling a little bit of pressure, but I don't feel the pain that I was feeling before.
Tony, you know what that means?
What's that?
All you had was a muscle balance issue. Nothing was broken. Nothing was unfixable. It's just your body was out of balance, and it was just letting you know, I can't keep doing it like this, or else I'm really going to give you a problem.
That's awesome.
Tim's asking that question about walking fast, and it sometimes lights his hamstrings up when he increases speed walking. And we were talking about something yesterday on another podcast I was doing. We were talking. I'm sorry, it was a therapy session with a lady who walks all the time, and I said, "Do you deliberately walk, or do you just walk?" What do you mean? Do you deliberately go for a walk? Like, I'm going for a walk, and I'm going to get heel strike and toe off and let my arms swing, or do I just go out and go, oh, just let my dog pull me in 10 directions, and which is okay too. But when you want to get the benefit of a walk, and you know who it was? It was Michelle. We were talking about, Tony, it was Michelle when we were talking about, we had her on the show last week, I think, and we were talking about her doing the squat challenge and people wanting to shrink their butt and their backside. They want it to be beautiful. And I said, well, you can kiss that goodbye if you don't get heel strike. Because if you don't get a good heel strike walking, it's over. So when Tim asked this question, walking fast like this, Tim, I would say the increased speed and demand of the walk could be that when your leg is starting to walk faster, you're starting to take bigger steps and wider stride lengths. And Greg knows that the hamstring has a major play when the leg is out here before heel strike. It's the braking mechanism. So your hamstring might be lighting up because you're asking it to do work that it's not used to do conditioning wise. But if you're like Tony, your body may have been out of position enough to overload the hamstring anyway. So it's just giving you a signal. The signal sucks, but it had to be.
And you hit the nail on the head, Brian. It's just the hamstring saying, I can't do this by myself. That you need, in order to get the heel strike, you need your big glute to do something. That's why, Brian gave me a hard time, but it's leg day every day. Because when I walk, I use my glutes all the time. If you ever meet an Egoscue therapist who doesn't have a developed, gluteal area, you know they're not that really good.
If they don't have a tight ass, go ahead, you can say it.
Oh, it's true. And I have Greg's mother's hips.
My mom's a pastry chef.
For real. Amazing, too. Amazing. Give the story.
Good to know you are in New York, right? I'm in New Jersey. I might,
Yeah. The Italian mom, she makes 18 different kinds of cookies just for Christmas. She starts after Halloween and just starts pumping them out.
Is it too early to place my order?
Never too early.
Because we can do the 6 foot trade off. We can do that.
6 foot trade off.
My arm goes out about 3 feet. Yours goes out about 3 feet.
Mats, and I can probably slide it across, right?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well,
someone asked a question in the chat about where they felt the stretch, and they said, I think they felt it in the shoulder and also in the butt, and I think that's also where you felt it too, Tony.
Yeah.
Right. That's right. The question is that if it's different, I guess the question to you, Betty, did you feel it the whole length on one side, or was that one side the shoulder and the other side was the butt? That's the question back to you. The answer is yes, it's normal, but it's figuring out, well, what does it mean? And it probably means that because Tony had a similar response and his body was rotated, it may mean your body has a similar posture situation going on.
And I love the idea that we would eventually walk Betty through the idea that it's okay to feel different on each side. Don't panic. A lot of times this isn't her, but a lot of times our customers are afraid to feel something new because they view it as possibly a new pain coming in, and they can't handle another type of pain. So we have to walk them through. Is it a feeling of pain or is it work? And they walk you through, no, it's work. And then we go right to the breathing, which does two things. It gets them off of the symptom and onto the breathing. And then the breathing physiologically changes the body too.
Yeah, there's a big relationship to breathing and how muscles react. Brian wanted to get into like the nerdy, boring science of it. And there's a really fun video out there that we could probably share with people just to understand. About how things, what it actually means when you feel a stretch.
Hey, Greg, can you send me the new pictures to see if there's a substantial difference so I can post it?
I'll work on them. I'll do them right now.
So I can put it on, and then maybe send them on the same email so I can flip from one slide to the other so that people can see, what the difference really is.
Done.
And then when you put this thing and you put it out, I don't know how you can, if it allows you to put up your screenshot of what it looks like to see if somebody wants to click on it. Put your first 4 pictures up there. That may intrigue somebody to go, okay, what is this? Versus just, no offense, but our faces aren't going to sell anything. So, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, listen, speak for yourself.
I was waiting for that.
Too funny. But the great thing that you said is, it's just your body sending you a signal. And I talk about that all the time, that whether it's pain or to go back to obviously what I've been working on and mastering over the years, emotions, right? Emotions, it's the same thing. Just like pain is a signal, pain is an indicator, emotions are an indicator as well, right? So for the same reasons, they're not bad. It just is. It's just causing you to put your attention where you need to put it, right? You need to focus. If there's pain anywhere, whether, if you're feeling anger, you're feeling this or whatever, it's just an indicator. All of those are indicators. And you don't want to have that pain for very long. You got to work out the pain, just like you don't want to have that negative emotion for very long. Same way you want to have your body in alignment and not be in pain. You also want to have your emotional state in a positive, happy state, because when you're any other way, you're not right. I mean, it's the body and our emotion, everything kind of ties together.
Yeah, one supports the other. Yesterday, I was on a Skype to India, sorry, the UK. They were from India, and I was talking to the guy's mother for her appointment. And he said, she smoked cigarettes. And he said it in a way that I saw her face like, how dare you tell him that I smoke? Brian's the health guy. He's going to judge it. And I said, if I was there with you, I'd stand outside on your stoop 6 feet apart from you, whether you were smoking or not. And I'd help you enjoy that cigarette. And it caught her by surprise. So I needed the state changer right there. I'm in support of you smoking that cigarette. And she was like, what? And I said, do I condone it? Not for myself. But if you're smoking that cigarette and you're going, this is what calms me down, and I don't know what substitute to put in its place that gives me that same relaxing, calming effect, then that cigarette's doing its freaking job. And when you judge it as a coach or as a mother or as a son or anything like that, guess what she does?
Shuts you down.
She pulls out another one and lights it right in front of you.
Smokes 2 at a time. Screw you. Yeah. Is she from New York?
Exactly. But it's at that point, and I said that right in front of her, and she said, that's exactly right. I feel like I'm being judged. And I said, you understand you have a son that loves you more than anyone on this planet. He's not judging you. He's looking at the smoking from the negative side. You're looking at it from, I need it. It's the one thing I can control. And I said, instead of judging her, why don't you create a substitute? You remember when Tony Robbins years ago on stage, and I'm going to paraphrase this whole thing and probably screw it up, but there was a young lady, absolutely beautiful, gets up on stage, jumping up and down. And you could tell from the crowd, this was, I think, in Hawaii back in the day before 9/11. And we used to get 4,000 people in the crowd. And she starts talking about this. I love this. And you can tell significance was in play a little bit. I'm up in front and Tony's over here. And then Tony looks at her, and remember, I'm screwing this up. He looks at her and goes, tell him what you did for a living or do for a living now. And she gave that same look how dare you? You betrayed my trust. You did this. And then walks her through this stuff. And he said, listen, I'm not judging you. Neither are 4,000 people. Tell them what you do. And if any of you have been to any of these Robbins events, and I've been on stage for almost 30 years, when a crowd stands up and explodes, which is why I come out to Def Leppard or the Scorpions, right? You literally understand why Pink Floyd plays for 4 or 5 hours.
The energy.
And there are days when you don't feel it, and you'll hear Tony when he's on stage, he'll change his language. The F-bomb drops, boom, and it wakes you up and gets that crowd going. He said to her, tell him what you do. And she said, well, I'm I may have this backwards. I was a prostitute and now I'm a porn star. And she was waiting for the judgment. And the crowd exploded with a standing ovation for like 4 minutes. She's bawling. Tony's hugging her. And he said, listen, it's not that we aren't concerned for your safety, but it's that we understand why you chose these professions. That was such an anchor for her psychologically that the pain left. She started a rescue, basically, for women caught in the prostitution and porn world and pulled people out of it. It was unbelievable. So that psychological shift has to include not just, hey, I'm going to change. It has to be here. It has to be here. You got to feel it. That's why our therapist, and Greg will tell you why, we're very attuned at active listening. And it's been coached that way from Pete Egoscue, because he would go, tell me why you're really here. And we're like, where's he going with this? Yeah. And to hear that stuff, because remember, he's been through Vietnam. He's been through the BS of life. And he's not going to let you BS another second of his life or yours. And that's a massive change. And I know that's stepping into your world, but that's essentially what you're doing to people. You're helping them come out why they smoke cigarettes versus smoking is bad.
Yeah. Well, listen, this is why we're here. This is why I bring you on, and thank you for bringing Greg on. And this is why I keep having, inspirational and influential guests, come on and share their knowledge. I will add on to the smoking and that it calms me down effect. I don't know if you must have heard this, because I think I heard this from Tony. He talks about, everybody take a deep breath, and everybody goes, and it's all a high breath. And he says, you're doing it wrong. And we're like, the hell? What do you mean? We're all breathing. We're all alive. The reality of it is a proper breath is a diaphragmatic breath, right? And most people only do that when they're sleeping. You look at a baby, you see how their belly comes up, but everybody's so focused on their physical appearance that they don't want to take that diaphragmatic breath because their belly is going to pop out. So if you take a diaphragmatic breath, the lower, and look, I'm not a doctor, so I'm going to give you some numbers that I think are pretty accurate, but the bottom third of your lungs have the most oxygen receptors, or the bottom 20% or 25%, whatever it is, have the most oxygen receptors.
0.39.
Sorry?
It's 26.39.
Oh, there you go. I was pretty damn close. 26.3, whatever. Well, whatever it is, it's somewhere around there, between 20 and 30% of your lower part of your lungs have the most oxygen receptors. So when we're taking these shallow breaths, we're not getting oxygen down there. That's why we said just breathe, take a deep breath, and that relaxes you because you're giving your body the oxygen it needs. Well, interestingly enough, people say that they smoke so that they can relax. It helps them relax. Guess what? When you smoke a cigarette, either you guys ever smoked?
No,
I have.
I never inhaled.
Yeah. Okay, George. So the reality of it is, anyone who smoked out there, just try this. And if you no longer smoke, or even if you do smoke, take a deep breath real quick, not thinking about diaphragmatic breath or anything. Just take a deep breath, right? Take a deep breath. And most people are going to go up, right? Now, even you guys that have never smoked, make believe you're smoking a cigarette and put your fingers up to your lips and then inhale that way.
Yeah, so.
What happens? It's a diaphragmatic breath, but you're breathing into your diaphragm. So even though you're polluting your lungs, you're actually giving your lungs more oxygen than it normally has. So that's what actually makes you relax. It's not the damn tobacco. It's not the nicotine. It's the fact that you're taking a diaphragmatic breath.
Got it. So you said, Brian and Greg, you should start smoking weed to be healthier.
Well, it is medicinal marijuana, for God's sakes. What can I tell you?
I will tell you, Greg, would you mind turning your camera one more time, laying down flat on the mat like this, so that your stomach, when you diaphragmatically breathe, hits this is the one cool part about, we have a course online called East-West Breathing where we talk about back breathing. Because the escape of your stomach, if you go forward like this and you just lay on your stomach with your forehead down on your hands and relax, feet pigeon-toed, heels out, when you breathe in, your stomach can't go forward. So now if you had your hands on his kidney area where those yellow words are on his jacket, you'd actually feel the expansion outward into his back, and you could do 15 minutes of breathing, nice and slow, relaxing, almost meditatively here, and you could breathe yourself sometimes out of back pain, getting the increase in oxygen that you're talking about, which, by the way, the numbers are true, that about 35 to 40% increase in oxygen efficiency if you can get your diaphragm engaged into the breathing process.
Right.
It is massive for that, Tony. And, you know, the idea behind whether smoking is calming you or whether the breathing technique, I love that analogy, because you're telling somebody, well, you think the smoking does it, but why don't you just not put the cigarette up there and let's see what happens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony, my college roommate he was an athlete. He was a swimmer, and he was the kicker on our football team. Talk about an interesting athlete. He used to smoke, and he used to say he used to breathe better. Smoking used to make him breathe better.
Well, that's because you're taking a diaphragmic breath. It's just the way you're breathing, which is, again, it's kind of it's fascinating for that, to be honest with you. So, and if we just think about that, and again, I'm going to challenge everybody, make like you're smoking a cigarette, and that's a diaphragmic breath because you're sucking it in a different way. So just think about that. Now, before we go any further, I just got to show the slide. This is so freaking impressive. I just got your email. I'm like, holy crap. So here, I'm going to share this now. Oh, wait, hold on. So check this out. This was me before, right? Let me just go here. This was me before. You see how far off that center I am? This is crazy.
Look at the right ear. Yeah, right ear versus left ear on the side view.
Yeah, and just look at this photo. Forget everything else so as to not confuse you. Matter of fact, let me blow that up.
Yeah.
Look at your head position.
So let's just this is crazy. So here's, just focus on that photo. Now look at this one. How crazy is that? Yeah, it's almost dead center. Not quite. My head's still off to the side.
That's why I said you wore the perfect shirt.
Yeah, but it's almost back to where it should be. So again, you know, you're right. It's not magic, right? But look at that dot. Just looking at the dot.
Hey, Tony.
That dot. Oh, not that dot.
Answer me this question. How does it feel? Forget pain-wise physically. How does it feel when you saw the difference? What emotion? What did it bring up?
Holy cow! It made me like kind of go back and like, holy crap! That's amazing. Again, obviously it's not magic, but it's almost like magic. We just did two. I did one exercise.
Yeah, but buddy, think about the people that are listening who have chronic symptoms. That's literally, you know, New York. It's tearing the ass out of me. You know, I mean, it's so.
Dice.
That was the dice man. Sorry.
Yeah, dice. Love it.
Thinking about that, it's tearing them up so bad. They don't need another stressor in this time. Think about that emotion that you just gave, which was like, guys, I got to interrupt this this broadcast to show you this breaking news. It's that emotion that comes from people when they see their differences, when they can understand, oh yeah, I feel a little better, and they're in the back of their mind, they're going, I don't know how long it's going to last. Then you compound it by putting icing on the cake by showing them before and afters, and it's okay. Wait a minute. I actually look, which is why we don't even really market this picture. Greg knows which one I'm pulling up. This is so unsellable, but this picture to me that's one visit on a 58-year-old Ironman triathlete.
That's crazy.
One visit. It looks like father-son.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It looks like two different people. You know which one that I saw that was so super impressive was the woman that had that really bad scoliosis, that her hips looked like she was broken in half and just kind of put together wrong. And after one visit, that photo that you yeah. Oh my God. You know what? Hold on. Let me put you on full screen. Bring it a little closer. Okay, look at that. That is so unbelievable. It looks like she's broken.
75 minutes. Guess what position?
The cat dog. Oh, I did two positions. Sorry. The cat dog thing. Cow dog.
Just laid her on her back. And remember how we talked about both
legs? With the legs up.
Remember this?
Yeah, with the legs up. Yep. If you guys, by the way, anybody that's seen this now and didn't catch it before, just scroll down, go to the Facebook feed. And I think it might already be on YouTube. If it's not, I'll load it up. But it's certainly on my Facebook page. Just scroll down, or I'll put a link in this video to that in the comments to that video, so you guys can check the last two episodes that we did with.
Give us feedback, and as a gift, we'll auction off this one-of-one original art.
Can you sign it at least? I mean,
oh, it's my initials, BB, at the bottom.
Oh, nice. So that's awesome. Listen, I want to be respectful of your time. The fact that you're coming on here every week with me, and you pulled Greg away from the Monopoly game. Right now, his daughter's already, she's already got 16 houses on each street, and he's going to go back and
no money left. Yeah, they just kind of played my turn. They just took all my money.
Maybe
he's going to find out that he's broke.
Next week we'll talk about this.
Oy.
Holy cow! Yeah,
that was a commercial on TV like 4 years ago that said, "What are you running from? Are you, some type of investment thing or something?" And people see, like, what? This isn't rocket science. Like, I'm not going to invest with you if you can't even pull up the right guy to run on your commercial.
Yeah. Oh, that looks painful. Well, listen, guys, like I said, we're at an hour and 15 minutes. I just want to tell you both that I so appreciate this. And Greg, listen, Brian's we've already spoken on the phone because Brian's already put us on the phone together, but it's great to finally meet you, not in person, but as close as we can right now. Nice to meet you. And I look forward to meeting up with you because, again, where are you in New York?
I have a location in Midtown Manhattan and one in Westchester County.
Fantastic. Well, listen,
two areas that are kind of smashed, just like everyone else on the East Coast right now.
Yeah. Well, listen, when all this subsides, we gotta get together for sure. I'll bring you something that Brian hasn't had yet. I've got fresh eggs too, not just honey. So, listen. With that said, guys, I just invite you to hang on for a couple minutes after I end the broadcast. But I just want to say thank you so much for coming on here. Greg, tell us how we can find you. I know that you're in Midtown Manhattan and Westchester, but what's the website, or where can they follow you on Instagram?
You can go right to agascu.com, and if you are in this area or in any area, you can type in whatever location that you're in, and it'll pull up clinics close to you. If you type in New York, just the state of New York, both my locations will pop up along with a number of other certified practitioners. Thank you. GetUpNGrow, agascu.com. Just go there and look for Find Therapy. You'll find us there. You can email me. I'm the only Greg at Agascu. So I'm greg@agascu.com, EGOSCUE, just as it says in the.
And listen, Greg has the time because he and I are on phones every day talking about different things. You guys know anybody in a hospital. I don't care if we have to Skype in the hospital and they're in a room by themselves taking a break. We're going to just give them some help. We have to.
Totally.
It's like military right now. And we come from a military background. You work for Pete Agascu, you might as well have been in the military for 30 years because that's our mindset. And that's how we're looking at first responders now. They are a priority, not just because they're here to help me if I get sick, but there's going to be millions of people that are going to suffer from this down the road. We've got to get them. The front lines have to be taken care of. So like we said last week, share this. Give them our email addresses. They're not bothering us. In fact, you're bothering us by not sharing it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, please share this video. I mean, I can't share this one. Go back and share the prior ones as well. And again, for those who don't have a Facebook, we're on YouTube now. So you can go right to the YouTube channel, copy the link and share it. And by the way, thank you guys for that. And I will post it to my wife so that when they have a meeting at work, because they have a meeting once a week, once every 2 weeks, maybe you guys can Skype in. Of course, it all depends on time wise and stuff because it's usually in the morning. Maybe Greg, you can do it because Sunshine over here, Brian will be sleeping at 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning when they meet.
I mean, we got to wait till at least 11:30 for Brian. So.
Yeah,
I backed it up. I'm up around. Well, my alarm goes off around 11:01. Then it snoozes for 9 minutes. I'm up at 11:10. If I hit it, I'll snooze it again. Yeah, whatever.
Nice.
I just real quick. I just see two people in the comments. Someone had a question about New Jersey. We do travel to New Jersey when it's open. We go to Englewood Hospital and we see clients there. And then someone said Colorado. We have a clinic in Denver and a clinic in Boulder. So
guys, we have clinics in your house via Skype and FaceTime.
Okay, this is great. Listen, this has been great. I think this is invaluable for people that have never experienced it. So, and again, there's at least 2 or 3 exercises in every one of these videos. So go back and check out the other ones. Again, thank you so much for coming on here. And like I said, just hang for a couple of minutes. And everyone that's watching, again, please share these videos with people that you love, right? Your family, your friends, and anybody else. Post them to your groups. Yeah. And again, thank you for coming. And tomorrow we're going to have another fantastic guest. I look forward to having everyone join me again tomorrow at 6 o'clock Eastern time, 3 o'clock Pacific. And remember, my friends, that life is not about how many times you fall. It's about getting up after every fall, because you fall down 7 times, get up 8, and every single time you fall, you have the opportunity to get up and grow, because we all have to grow through what we go through. Appreciate you all. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. And Brian, we will see you again next Saturday. Thanks again. Appreciate all of you.
See ya.
See ya.